Everybody, welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts on this Wednesday. It's a cloudy Wednesday here across the state of Wisconsin, including here in Milwaukee, but we got some much needed rain last night.
Yeah, we have really needed it. We won't get an update from the drought monitor until Thursday. Yes. They're making all the maps and crunching all the numbers as we speak, but it has been pretty dry of late, so it's kind of a good rain, even though maybe it was a hassle for the drive in, kind of reflecting the mood of Brewers fans too.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a gloomy, sad Monday.
That's okay.
Wednesday,
That's
not
okay.
Monday.
I think things will turn around. Got LA to look forward to. It's all going to be good. But before we look forward, we're actually going to look backward, as I am one to do on this show. Today, back 1954, Hurricane Hazel was hammering North Carolina, the deadliest and costliest storm of that season, the only Category 4 at that point to ever hit North Carolina's coast. Formed near Grenada on October 5th. Hazel then slammed into Haiti just days after that, killing hundreds there before charging north. By October 15th, Hazel roared ashore in the Carolinas with 150-mile-per-hour wind speeds, turning extratropical as it raced inland, leaving a trail of devastation from the Caribbean all the way up to Canada. Wow. This is one they talk about in Toronto, where I'm originally from, quite a bit in the weather world, because it did, as an extratropical storm, the remnants of Hazel made it all the way up into southern Ontario, upstate New York, get totally drenched by what was left of this storm, and that again made its landfall in the Carolinas today back in 1954. And this is amazing footage that we're privileged to have because, of course, it's the old Fox Movietone News archives because of our parent company, Fox. So.
Man, 50 years ago, or 50 plus years ago, of course.
Yeah.
But North Carolina's been in our weather headlines for what feels like months. It's interesting that is the hot spot this year.
That's very true, yeah.
Not for landfalling hurricanes, but just the amount of beach erosion that they have dealt with.
That's been a big problem as well. And then on the other side of the country as well, in fact, the city of Tempe, Arizona is where we kick things off. Look at this. The city has released this video showing a ferocious wind and rain storm as a powerful storm tore across the area there on Monday. Officials say the storm produced a microburst that toppled trees, knocked out power, damaged several homes and businesses. So this again is Tempe, Arizona.
It looks
look
like
at
snow almost.
Oh, I know.
You know? Wow. Okay. Well, it wasn't just homes impacted by that microburst. There were 70 small businesses, mostly located in a business complex near Kyrene and Baseline Roads. I'm going to be honest with you, my sister's workplace was impacted by this.
Wow. Okay.
I know I talk about her all the time. I'm sorry.
Well, Arizona's been in weather news a lot lately.
I know. Yes, her dental office was unfortunately impacted by this. A portion of the roof was destroyed by the winds as well as the rain, and that also damaged fences and cars. It was really a big area that dealt with damage.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see how active it has been in the desert Southwest, but that has not been the case. It's been very wet, very stormy there.
More rain than us too, Rob. Did we talk about this yesterday?
We did, right.
Over 3 inches of rain in Phoenix already.
Which is, I mean, our biggest numbers locally are about an inch.
Yeah, exactly.
And to be fair, an inch here is low, but an inch there is high.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for them to get 3 times that is ridiculously high for sure. And getting back to what you were saying before, of course, the East Coast Carolinas and all the way down to Florida still being hammered, although they haven't been directly hit with no landfall. There have been quite a lot of things going on with beach erosion there. The beaches are still feeling the erosive effects of a lot of these tropical systems. They're trying to slowly recover from last week's storms and those king tides that we talked about, those massive tides that washed in. Much of the sand that was washed away from Beach Rehab Project, the irony of that, after Hurricanes Ian and Nicole back in 22, that erosion, has taken its toll on that as well, with some cliffs almost 12 feet high now on the dune line, because that was a dune with like a drop-off, a slow drop-off, and now it's a cliff or like an escarpment right there. So officials say the beaches are a top priority for Brevard County tourism and economy, of course. I mean, a lot of us go there just for that, for those beaches, right? So a dedicated amount of hotel and motel bed tax there, like we have in Milwaukee County, that's going to be used to fund the beach renourishment projects is what they call them there.
Look at how dramatic that drop-off is.
Right. It just
you can
took
clearly
the sand
see it in the video.
And then took it right back out to the sea. And that was, those king tides that we talked about, with the supermoon and everything else, making it even worse than it would have been otherwise. So lots of fascinating video. Back here at home, lots of things to talk about as well. Let's kick off our regional coverage.
Yeah, we're pretty active here locally too. We saw the rain late last night as well as early this morning. Starting off down in the southeast as we, take a look across the U.S. Thankfully, Florida is relatively quiet, and the Carolinas after the coastal flooding issues from the nor'easter over the past couple of days. And of course, the video that you just saw there. Now, there are technically still a handful of coastal flood advisories that's still in effect, but they are set to expire today. So some good news there. The coast will finally get a break from some of those high waves and the high winds that they have been dealing with for what feels like months now, thanks to the tropics and thanks to that nor'easter. Now, back closer to home, we're starting to dry out across southern Wisconsin, and we just have a few little areas of some sprinkles approaching the Milwaukee area. You can see some scattered showers in Illinois as well as into Iowa and all the way down to about Omaha, Nebraska, as well as Kansas City. So it's a smaller area across the nation's midsection here with some scattered showers right along that stationary boundary. There's also still some activity out west across parts of the Dakotas and Montana. Cold front still drapes down through the southwest. Heavy rainfall is still a possibility in the southwest today, but thankfully not the severe weather threat that parts of Southern California had yesterday. There were even tornado warnings at points near LA yesterday. Not very common for that area. You can see the Weather Prediction Center, though, does still have at least a marginal risk for some heavy rainfall here across southern Colorado as well as northern New Mexico. And I know New Mexico yesterday dealt with a lot of the heavy rainfall, so Arizona's starting to see a little bit of a break from that. But it has just been a very active stretch over the last week and a half, thanks to tropics and just thanks to numerous storm systems. Now, there is technically a marginal risk for a severe thunderstorm as well in those same spots where the flooding is a potential, but then also up into the north. It's a fairly low chance, but there could still be some isolated strong to severe storms out towards the west. And then on the opposite side of things, there are still chances for accumulating snow at higher elevations up towards the north. So you can see a portion of Wyoming actually under a winter weather advisory. Let's bring you back closer to Wisconsin. The rest of this Wednesday, it is going to be a cloudy day. Now, we may luck out and see decreasing clouds later on tonight, but then they will eventually move back in for Thursday. There's a slight chance we see a passing shower throughout the day Thursday, otherwise partly to mostly cloudy conditions. We are, however, going to need to watch Thursday evening. And I mention that because I know there's going to be outdoor viewing parties for the Brewers in Milwaukee and likely elsewhere across the state as they head into Game 3 out in LA. Most of those, I think, at least some of them will be outdoors. We're going to need to watch the rain chance for the second half of the game and as the game is ending. Now, that rain chance will exit later Thursday night. Most of Friday is trending dry until Friday night. Yet another chance for some showers and storms, and we're not done yet. Saturday and even into Sunday, we could have a few more rounds of showers and thunderstorms rolling on through. So this is absolutely our active week of weather compared to what we have seen over the last couple of weeks. And you can see our rain chance for today is pretty much done in Milwaukee, maybe just a sprinkle here or there. But then we're going to be especially eyeing Saturday and maybe into portions of Sunday for some more showers. And Saturday, maybe even a rumble of thunder before a cold front rolls through. Temperatures today impacted by the clouds. Most spots will only be in the 50s. So expect a cool day today. And there is still some decent warmth south of us. You can see forecast highs across the nation still in the 80s, really just south of that stationary boundary and that cold front. Once we see a south-southwest wind kicking in closer to the end of the week, Milwaukee has the chance to see some low 70s, and that would primarily be Friday on into Saturday until that cold front moves through. So we still have some cooler days, although by tomorrow those middle 60s are above average. And then notice looking ahead to Sunday after that Saturday cold front rolls through, we will see temperatures dropping about 10 degrees, so kind of back to where we should be in those low 60s. Bit of a roller coaster ride, but you know what? We've been very dry and very quiet over the last couple of weeks, so nice to change it up.
Well, and most of those numbers are either average or above, or in some cases significantly above.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, if you're not a fan of the cold weather, we can't really complain too much, at least not too loudly. We also can't complain about not having enough data these days.
No.
Right? Lots of data out there, and we actually have some new tools around the state of Wisconsin that will give us more weather data. And there's a program called Wiscoconet. Chief Meteorologist Tom Walks explains.
Well, we have something exciting to tell you about in the weather community across the state of Wisconsin. New data to share, new data points with new weather sensors that have been launched across the state of Wisconsin. This is called Wisconet, or the Wisconsin Environmental Mesonet. Let me show you this here. We have had several sites that are already out there and many new sites that have been added, not only in southern Wisconsin, but across the state. Let me put this into better perspective for you here, as you're going to notice a lot of new towns being featured on here. This is really cool. What this means is we're able to give you rapidly updating weather data from across the state, even more so than you're used to seeing on these broadcasts. And again, you can see many different areas here, many different temperatures being reported. Places like Grafton, Cold Spring, New Berlin, down to Walworth and Bristol as well. So exciting new sensors here, but let's get into this. Now, this is not only temperature, this is also dew point, which of course we talk a lot about as well. We can also show you the wind coming in here as well. So again, this is called Wisconet, and you can find all of this information publicly available on the internet as well. So this is publicly available data, and it is both weather stations and also environmental data as well. And as we take a look at this here, there are a total of 58 weather stations across the state. Now, this is funded by the USDA and WARF, the Wisconsin Alumni Association. And it's not just temperature, as we talked about. It's temperature, it's dew point, it's wind, air pressure, precipitation, solar radiation, leaf wetness, and soil moisture and soil temperature. And there are great people at Wisconet, extremely smart folks in Wisconsin here with this Wisconet program who have put this all together, put these sensors together, made the data publicly available to all of us. So we're able to show this to you and bring this to you on our air, thanks to all of their hard work. And again, it is called Wisconet. You can find the data publicly available and useful online as well, not only here in southern Wisconsin, but also across the state. So look for that on our broadcasts on Fox 6 and on Fox Local as well. So very exciting, the Wisconsin Environmental Mesonet, or Wisconet, now live.
Yeah, Wisconet's definitely easier to say.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, like Tom said, some incredibly smart, very ingenuitive folks that are very ingenious at how to devise this, put it all together. And I think the key to this, too, is that the data is publicly available.
Yes,
you can go look it up for yourselves. And so it's available to us to share with you. And, there's a level of transparency that I like about that. And I think, weather belongs to all of us because we all got to live in it. So it's kind of nice that we have this data for everybody.
Yes.
All right, we'll be back. We got lots more for you and for everybody. Tell your friends about this show so that everybody can share that, too. It's Wisconsin Weather Experts. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Wisconsin Weather Experts right here on Fox Local and the Fox 6 YouTube channel.
So fall in Wisconsin is incredible, as we all know. And one spot that you love in particular, Door County, right?
Yeah, I was just up there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. So clearly we're in the midst of a very busy and fun fall season. And if you are looking to head up north, which a lot of us try to at least, once a season, right? Door County may be a great option for you. Now, I had the opportunity to speak with Jen Rogers from Destination Door County about why it's such a lovely place to visit this time of year and some of the events that are coming up in the coming weeks. Why is Door County so special during the fall season?
Yeah, so it's a lot because of our geography. So Door County is this long, narrow peninsula, so the fall colors seem to linger on a little bit longer in Door County. Typically, the colors start in the northern portion and then work their way down to the southern portion. So there's a longer period of time that you can catch those fall colors. Plus, there's tons of events. Every weekend, there's an event up here in Door County.
And now, speaking of the fall foliage, how does it look right now?
So currently we're about 40%. I'm expecting this weekend and into next weekend will be great times to see those peak fall colors in Door County. And you can actually track that at doorcounty.com/fall.
In your opinion, where are some of the best places to view the fall foliage? I know there are so many beautiful parks to be at. What are some of your favorites?
Yeah, there's 5 state parks in Door County. That's more state parks than any county in Wisconsin. So those are all great spots. Eagle Tower at Peninsula State Park, beautiful. You get those bird's eye views of the fall colors. And actually, Potawatomi State Park Tower just opened up again. It's been closed for 8 years, so it'll be the first time in 8 years to see those fall colors at the top.
Another favorite that I seem to see all the time is this infamous winding road. And it doesn't matter the season. It's not just fall. Every season, the pictures I see of this specific area are just breathtaking. Can you give us a little insight into where that is and why it is so perfect?
I think that's probably the most photographed road in Wisconsin. So beautiful. That is at the tip of the peninsula, Highway 42 from Gills Rock to Northport. And it winds back and forth through the trees. So not only is it so pretty any season, but it's really fun too to drive on it.
How about events? I know it's a busy season. It will continue to stay busy through the holidays. What about in the next couple of weeks, specifically fall related throughout October and November?
Yeah, so Door County's biggest fall event is actually this weekend, Sister Bay's Fall Fest, October 17th through the 19th. So that's a 3-day event, arts and crafts show, a soapbox derby, a parade, music, and tons of fall food. And then the following weekend is a lot of Halloween events throughout Door County.
Speaking of the holidays upcoming, there was a movie that was filmed in Door County recently?
Yeah, not like we want to rush fall, but we're kind of thinking Christmas because this past spring we filmed a movie up in Door County and it comes out it actually came out this past weekend. And Cherry Pie Christmas, or a Wisconsin Christmas pie on Great American Family. So we are super thinking of Christmas here in Door County.
Were there a lot of people around while filming was taking place?
We did a call out for extras and we had to shut it down in 18 hours. It was wild.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, well, I think everybody's going to be looking forward to that. Now, I know peak season within Door County, usually summertime. I'm assuming there is still so much to do and see even at this time.
Oh, definitely. A lot of the stuff doesn't shut down until the end of October, but because of the holiday season is becoming more and more, with this Christmas movie, I think we might be seeing more people in the winter. People are staying open longer, so you definitely, and on weekends, there's no problem finding things open in Door County.
What is your absolute favorite thing to do during the fall in Door County?
Probably apple picking. We always go to the same apple orchard every year and we pick way too many apples that we're eating apples into December, but It's a family tradition that we do, and that's definitely my favorite thing to do.
And a lot are those apple orchards and even pumpkin patches. Are there a few to choose from throughout Door County?
Yeah, definitely a few apple orchards to choose from. Not a ton of pumpkins, but you'll definitely find a lot of like roadside markets that you can pick up pumpkins.
If anybody across Wisconsin needs more information on traveling to Door County and what they can do there, do you recommend a specific site to check out?
Yes, thank you, Stephanie. That is doorcounty.com, or follow any of our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram, and you can check those fall colors out in real time on those.
Great. All right, Jen, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I love Door County.
It is beautiful, and it's a great time of year for it. Hopefully, some of the weather patterns that we've had this year don't like really shrink the season up, which I'm afraid it might. So maybe don't hesitate, even though it's kind of a gray weekend up there. Yeah, still might be pretty to go check it out.
Exactly. We love the state. We love everywhere across the state of Wisconsin. So we got to take advantage of how beautiful it is.
Yeah. That was a good interview.
Thank you.
All right, we've got more though. We're not done. We're going to talk La Niña after this.
Welcome back, everybody, to Wisconsin Weather Experts. So you've probably heard the term La Niña.
All over social media.
All over social media. So there is the potential that we see that heading into the winter. Meteorologist Holly Baker explains what that is and what that could mean for us in Wisconsin.
Now, I know you've heard the term El Niño and La Niña before. Well, in this case, we're going to specifically focus on a La Niña pattern because that could be what affects our winters here in Wisconsin. Now, let's start with La Niña and what exactly it is. Well, it's basically when you have cooler waters that are going to be trending along the equator in the Pacific Ocean. But let's go ahead and take you down to the Pacific Ocean. I will step out the way so you can kind of see this visual for yourself. So you notice that those trade winds are typically blowing from east to west, and that is that orange circle that you see for the Pacific Ocean. That represents warmer waters. Well, we typically do have warmer waters, and when you have those trade winds moving from the east to the west, that is going to push those warmer waters out of the way. And then you notice that we'll start to have in certain years, those trade winds could be stronger than usual in certain years, and that could cause some of the cooler water to surface pretty much in the eastern Pacific. So this area here in specifics will have cooler water to be trending during that particular year. So that's whenever the pattern switches over to be considered a La Nina pattern. Well, yeah, we talk about the Pacific Ocean, but here in Wisconsin, we're only close to Lake Michigan. So what does that actually mean for us? Well, look, it affects us too, because we typically will have a winter pattern. Our winter pattern will typically be affected during the La Nina season. So when that happens, you see that we're going to be trending for the northern portion of the United States where we have really cooler weather. So cooler temperatures could be expected in the winter time, as well as for the Midwest. Along with those cooler temperatures, it could trend a little bit wetter. So the conditions could be wetter, as in snow, rain, and cooler temperatures, right? So our winter this year is going to be something to really watch. Now, if you're going to be headed down south, it's going to be a total 360 here. You notice that they're going to be trending dry and warm. So their temperatures will be abnormally drier, or temperatures will be abnormally warmer, as well as conditions could even be abnormally on the drier side. Meanwhile, we're the complete opposite, cooler and wetter. So yes, the La Nina, even though it changes within the Pacific Ocean and the water's warming or cooling down, in this case for La Nina, waters will be cooling. That still affects us here in Wisconsin.
All right, fascinating stuff. We'll be watching it very closely. Thank you for watching us. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time.